During the past few years, I've thought about some of the family cars I grew up with. I had one favorite that I spent a lot of time in. I remember the sleek lines on that car, the feel of the vinyl upholstery, the chrome dashboard controls, and above all, the color. I'll get to that car in just a second. My interest in cars began when I was a kid, sparked not by engines or exhaust fumes, but by breakfast cereal.
Boys and girls, I'm here with news of a great free offer. Think of having realistic scale models of thrilling cars like this fabulous Ford Thunderbird and America's favorite convertible, the Ford Sunliner. Right now, you can get scale models of these great cars in these special packages of Post Grape Nuts Flakes. 5 different scale model Fords. Each model comes in 5 true Ford colors.
At our house, Grape Nut Flakes were the go-to cereal for my parents. Post had teamed up with Ford and Mercury, slipping little plastic cars into each box like hidden treasure. I can still remember the feel of those soft plastic bodies and the white rubber wheels. Not many of these survived, as they made a great chew toy for dogs. I also had a small Matchbox car collection. On Saturday mornings, my brother and I would ride our bikes up to the Five and Dime store on Harlem Road to look at the collection of Matchbox cars. They were all metal and made in England. I loved looking at the different models they had and what my 2 quarters could buy. I started my search for our real-life family cars by looking through some old family slides. I found that my favorite car was about the 3rd or 4th that our dad owned. The first record of a car came from this photograph taken in April 1952. This is a 1952 Chevrolet Styleline Deluxe 4-door sedan. This model had the basic trim package, which aligned with Dad's frugal nature. It was a 2-tone with a dusk gray top over a birch gray body.
Brilliantly new Chevrolet line for 1952 brings enrichment in design, subtle harmonies in color, meticulous perfection of detail. In the Deluxe Styleline 4-door sedan, lots of room for the family and easy to get in and out.
A basic 1952 Chevrolet Deluxe sedan had an original manufacturer's retail price of around $1,707. Can you believe that? A whole car, that heavy steel, chrome, the works, for $1,700. In 1952, the average teacher's salary in New York State was about $3,000, according to a report from the New York Times. That made the $1,700 price tag on that new car a pretty serious commitment, over 50% of Dad's annual income from his job at school. No wonder he picked up a second job starting a glee club through the Amherst Adult Education Program and a third job directing the choir at the Methodist Church. It wasn't just a passion for music, it helped make ends meet. The Styleline had a 3-speed manual transmission. Look at that big chrome knob used for shifting. They often called this a 3-on-the-tree column shifter. While it lacked power steering, reviewers say the car's steering felt surprisingly light once in motion. It said the large steering wheel provided enough leverage for comfortable driving at speed, though low-speed maneuvering and parking required more effort. The 1950s saw a surge in car ownership. Cars became more than just transportation. They were seen as a reflection of one's success and social standing. This started a tradition of taking your picture in front of your new wheels that continues today. Having a good car was important to Dad. Having reliable transportation was critical in getting to the high school and the other jobs. I'm not sure what happened to that car, but several years later, a different car appeared in the driveway. This photo from December 1958 shows my brothers and I in front of a new, used car for the family. This is a 1955 Pontiac Chieftain. This two-tone model with a polo white top over a Nautilus blue body added a pop of color on Walton Drive. In 1955, a new Pontiac Chieftain four-door sedan typically cost around $2,335. Dad most likely got a pretty good deal on this 3-year-old model. Its fresh styling included sweeping body lines and bold two-tone paint combinations. A brochure for this car says that the standard features included comfortable bench seats, inside door locks, crank-operated front vent windows, and an automatic dome light on the inside. This didn't include any upgrades like air conditioning and may not have included power steering. My only memory of this car involves driving in the winter to Mom's morning church ladies bowling league. She would set me on the front bench seat, but I would quickly slide down and curl up on the floor with my head on the transmission hump. I'd try to position myself as close as I could to the floorboard heating vent. It was very cozy hearing the rumble of the engine and feeling the blowing warm air on the floor of that Pontiac as it sloshed through the snow. I believe that Pontiac was the family car until April 1961. Each year, Chevy would announce their new models as a longtime sponsor of Bonanza, which we watched every Sunday night. Here's an ad that may have planted 2 seeds in our dad's mind.
See the USA in your Chevrolet. America is asking you to call. Drive your Chevrolet through the USA. America's the greatest land of all. On a highway or a road along a levee, performance is sweeter, nothing can beat her. Life is completer in a Chevy. So make a date today to see the USA. See it in your Chevrolet.
Traveling east, traveling west, wherever you go, Chevy service is best. Southward or north, near place or far, there's a Chevrolet dealer for your Chevrolet car.
See the USA in your Chevrolet. The Rockies way out west are calling you. Drive your Chevrolet through the USA, where fields of gold and wheat pass and review. Whether traveling light or with a load that's heavy, performance is sweeter, nothing can beat her. Life is completer in a Chevy. So make a date today to see the USA and see it in your Chevrolet.
The 2 seeds were 1, maybe he should try another Chevy, and 2, use it so his family could see the USA. Don Allen Motors was a major Chevrolet dealership located at Main and Fillmore in Buffalo at that time. Don Allen used a showmanship approach to sell cars, transforming the buying experience into a social event. This may have resonated with Dad during his visits to the Main Street showroom.
For 1961, the Chevrolet station wagon line is full of beauty, space, and go. Chevrolet Brookwood, Parkwood, and Nomad station wagons are built as wagons should be, with up-to-date looks, huge hauling space, and ruggedness.
I guess the ads and sales pitch worked because on April 18th, 1961, Dad brought his 1955 Pontiac to Don Allen Motors and traded it for a brand new 1961 Chevrolet Nomad Station Wagon. He got $817.80 for the 6-year-old Pontiac. He wrote a check for $2,765.20. The base price for the car was $3,047, plus $505.35 for optional equipment that included the Power Glide transmission, heater and defroster, manual AM radio, 2-speed wipers, power steering, an undercoat, a power rear window, and a padded dashboard. I believe that Dad was very proud of this car. You can see it on his face in this photo, most likely taken after a Sunday trip to church. The family was proud too. The three boys were unaware of where this new station wagon would take them and the adventures they would experience during the next few years. The Chevrolet station wagon was the top trim line, featuring Impala-level styling and amenities. Chevrolet offered 15 paint options for the 1961 Nomad. Ours was painted the color Jewel Blue Poly. Poly was short for polymetallic. This paint had little metallic flakes suspended in it, giving it a real sparkling finish. I really like that color. Mom bought me a shirt the same color for my second grade school picture. To this day, it's one of my favorite colors. We don't have many photos of the Nomad, but what we do have tells a story. This car sat in the driveway at home for most of the 1960s. We were a one-car family, so it was used for getting to work, going to the grocery, and driving around town. It also served as transportation on many family trips. This was the car that pulled our Scamper, a pop-up tent camper. Although the camper brochure stated that it slept 5 or 6, I didn't want to share a bed that was created by folding down the dining table with my brother. It wasn't that big. So on many nights, I slept in the Nomad. Had the whole thing to myself. For several summers, that station wagon and camper became our second home. First the Smoky Mountains, then an even bigger trip, all the way across the USA to California, just like the Chevy song. I spent so many hours sitting, sleeping, and playing in the interior of that car that I've often thought about it. I've thought about the texture of the seat covers, the design of the components on the dashboard, the hard vinyl covering on the floor in the back cargo area. And thanks to the amazing internet, I've been able to find some rare photos and videos that show what our Nomad looked like inside and out. The 1961 Chevrolet Nomad Model 1835 was a 4-door, 6-passenger wagon in the top-tier Impala series. It was described as a 6-passenger because you could fit 3 people across on each of the 2 bench seats. Remember, no seatbelts back then. The 1961 model benefited from a major redesign. It emphasized a sleeker, jet-smooth profile and a lighter body compared to the previous Nomads. The body was visually distinguished by a spear-shaped length of chrome trim running along the side, which created a sense of motion and highlighted the vehicle's long, sleek lines. The Nomad included additional chrome-plated trim like this front fender Chevy ornament, as well as bright metal moldings for the windshield, beltline, and window drip rails. The Nomad was stylish and very practical. The back cargo space could haul groceries, materials for projects, and people. This hidden storage place was a great place to hide. or store your golf clubs. Here's the gas tank. And now let's take a look inside. Be sure to notice the ashtray and the back door's armrest. This is where you put your gum wrappers. Marketing materials highlighted the Nomad's Impala-level luxury features, such as stylish interiors with foam cushioned vinyl lounge seats. This blue vinyl with ribbed cloth inserts was typically paired with the jewel blue poly exterior, along with the deeper pile, blue and black speckled carpeting. Here we go into the front seat. Here's the horizontal speedometer, the needle that moved up the faster you went, the temperature gauge, which would occasionally overheat when pulling the trailer up hills, the electric clock that never seemed to work, and the fuel gauge. Below that, the fan, defrost, and heat controls, along with the ignition lock cylinder. There's the front dash ashtray, push-button AM radio, and the glove box. Lots of chrome on that dashboard. Here's the first piece of automation that I ever experienced. The magical up-down switch that controlled the large back window. I was fascinated how that switch in the very front of the car could retract the window all the way in the back, and I'd look for any reason to play with it and show it off to friends. Lastly, up front, there's the Impala logo. According to Chevy, the leaping Impala symbolizes the car's speed and graceful high-performance qualities. The checkered flag represents victory in motorsports. On the Nomad, this V-flag badge also appears on the rear quarter panel, along with the unique Nomad script text. The Nomad's tailgate, with that retractable window, was accented with a distinctive V-shaped chrome trim piece. This added a unique flair to the rear, reinforcing its upscale positioning. Dad did spring for several of the optional accessories, like the radio and power rear window. One that he did not get was the third row seat. As the youngest, I was relegated to the way back, that hard, flat cargo area. They did provide me with a throw pillow, and would occasionally send a ham sandwich back there. Facing backwards, next to the camping gear, with nothing but my imagination and the blurry sounds of the AM radio drifting from the front speaker, I daydreamed, I made up songs, and I watched the country roll by in reverse. Honestly, I think the experience of being in the way, way back left some kind of permanent psychological mark on me. I never got to drive the Chevy Nomad. Always too young. The station wagon eventually moved to a second car status, replaced by a green Chevy Impala. Toward the very end of its life, it was relegated to a third car status when Dad purchased an old driver's ed car from school. It was an orange Opel Kadett, stick shift. All three boys got to drive it at some point. By then, the Nomad mostly sat in the garage, its glory days behind it, a silent witness to a chapter that was slowly closing. A few years later, Dad sold that gem of a car to a neighbor. $50. Just like that, the Chevy Nomad was gone. But looking back now, flipping through old photographs, I've come to understand something that I didn't see when I started this video. The reason that the Nomad was my favorite wasn't just about its sleek lines or the shimmer of its jeweled blue paint. It was something deeper. It wasn't just the car. It was the memories it held. That Chevy Nomad was more than metal and chrome. It was the backdrop to our most treasured days. It carried us through a time that was too short and too precious for us to ever forget. And though the car is gone, the memories it carried will always ride with us.